I would love to welcome you to the 30th recognition ceremony since September of 2020 and the final graduating class of 2024. Please rise. There we go. There we go. Have a seat, have a seat. Thank you so much. Thank you to our media friends that consistently tell the story of where we're going and what we're doing. Why don't we help these guys right here? Yep, why don't we move you guys over there to Percy? There we go. We'll get you guys some chairs. We have more graduates and we have chairs. That's a good thing. I love that. But I tell you, we've got so many great things to celebrate, so many great stories. You're going to see barber graduates, you're going to see into-work graduates, you're going to see GEDs, diplomas, our financial fitness, crim preparedness. You're going to see somebody who actually is out of jail and asked to come back in order to be recognized in graduation. That's what you're going to see. Thank you to our families that are able to come here. Thank you for sharing this because we know reunification is key to success. Thank you. Thank you to all of our friends that have come here. We've got a couple from Indiana that came here that one is a returning citizen but also met a guy who he ended up dating and now is going to be a long-term relationship with somebody in this room. And so we've got a great husband and wife couple soon to be. We've got people coming from Saginaw. We have sheriffs that you're going to hear about in a second. But we also have our cheer section for the Genesee County Jail. Thank you so much. Our trustees, our female population. Thank you. We've got our Ignite staff. I know that there's deputies that have raised their hand, but when we started this 4.5 years ago, that wasn't the case. I started with a concept in 2019 of Ignite, inmate growth naturally intentionally through education. And I thought if we can change that mindset from incarceration to education, that we could change the cultures of the jail. And once you do that, you track your stats. And when we launched it in September of 2020, and I had Coach Harbaugh here, and Chief Justice McCormick, and Percy Glover, and other returning citizens that came, we made a decision at that point that we are going to change the culture, and we're going to do it, and we're going to be consistent, and we're going to be persistent. And I'm happy to say that we're in 23% of the states in America. We have more Ignite sites being launched, 25 sites in the next 6 months, including our friends from Kalamazoo over here, Lieutenant Falk, third graduation. Third graduation, I'm going to tell you for the sake of time, I'm going to give you, because there's so many cool things, you don't even have to clap until I say, now's the time to celebrate, so check this out. Because I talk fast, I'm going to talk faster right now. Kalamazoo is during the third Ignite graduation. We're going to go there and celebrate, thanks to Sheriff Fuller, the longest serving sheriff in Michigan right now. 5-term sheriff says this is where Ignite is. Lieutenant was part of that whole process. He is now retiring in 3 weeks, going to go to St. Joe County with the new sheriff, Sheriff Spence, right here to launch Ignite in St. Joe County, our first Southwest county. Thank you, Sheriff Spence, man. We appreciate you. And thank you for our labor friends. As you know, labor is so important. Steve Dawes was the first one with 1D to write the check saying we're going to buy the first VR station. And we've got now 3 of them. But more importantly, they fund the Jailhouse Music Studios. These are the people that you partner with. So we're so thankful at UAW. I want you to remember, whenever you see the UAW wheel, it was designed decades ago for men and women. And that wheel is not gears. It's people holding hands, unifying together. That's true solidarity. So thanks to the UW. Travis from the building trades, we appreciate you. Kelly from our McLaren nurses. Kelly was the one that I called and said, we need to teach CPR. We needed to give Narcan to our inmates. We need to train them that when they leave here, they may have to save a life. Trauma and all sorts of medical and traumatic treatments. Thanks to Kelly, it's an automatic yes. We appreciate that. Mike Randick, business manager, Local 25. You know what the iron workers, they committed nationwide that any welding graduate from an Ignite program gets two things. Number one, they get a hood, gloves, and an apron that goes with their family. So when you come out and you go back into your training, you have all your gear. But most importantly, there's a direct entry into the Iron Workers Apprentice Program. If it says Ignite, there's no filter. You come right into the apprentice program. We're so thankful to Mike. All of our labor friends, our Teamsters and our pipe fitters and plumbers and operating engineers, all those folks, whether it's CDL training, labor, any part of the state, any part of this country is so important to make sure these men and women are successful. James Avery, you got to have people that are at the top of different positions of influence to make it happen. Our county board commissioner and an educator by trade, but Commissioner Avery, I appreciate. This is the partnership that we have as the sheriff and the county board. He represents and leads 9 commissioners. Ronnie Lontine, man, this is a guy for not only is a yes, I can get it done, but also a visionary. You might know that the Jailhouse Music Studio, when Jelly Roll was here in December of 2023, he asked for music. Steve was right there. And we asked Rodney to help put it together. On the 5th floor, we launched the Jailhouse Music Studio. Your partnership has been caught and it's been noticed. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to do our 2nd studio in Wayne County. Stay tuned. And there may or may not be a famous rapper cutting the ribbon. I don't want to say his name, but you'll know it's more than Snoop Dogg. But he's from Michigan, so thank you so much for Rodney. Our music studio, I know that we got people that cut tracks, that you get to own that intellectual property. And we've got those agreements because we don't want to benefit off someone's talent, and we're going to be able to give that intellectual property. You own that. Danny Harani, returning citizen, director of Team Wellness, the largest mental health facility in the state of Michigan, also a member of the National Sheriff Association board for Ignite, of which I am not on. Danny Harani is going to close us out. You're going to see our keynote speaker, a friend, and also an influencer from the federal level. This is our representative of the 8th District, who's soon to retire, Dan Kildee. Thank you so much. Thank you. But with that, we got our partners. We got Dave Choclos over there from Viapath. He's our communications rep. He was the first vendor I went to and said in 2020, we need to do this. We need to get an infrastructure. We need to teach. We need to use the tablets. And we've been honing those skills. And so, Dave, having you here, our friends from Newpath, our friends from Mount Morris High School, Wayne County Sheriff's Office that are now also 2 deputies, and the chief are here. We have Chief now these guys work so much. But Chief Rich, thank you so much. Steve Katz, Matt Schiffman, a business owner, also a deputy. We love you guys. We thank you. It's always a yes. The Bake Station always provides our treats. Thank you so much. I will tell you that none of this happens without everybody here, including the entire Genesee County Sheriff's Office staff, from the undersheriff down to the newest deputy, to all those that you see, the detectives. Everybody understands the importance of Ignite. I just want to say thank you from Chris Swanson to you guys for making this happen every single time. So please give a hand to the Genesee County Sheriff's staff. Thank you. Thank you. Before we do recognition, I want you to know that you have to track numbers. You've got to track when people say, I want to be a part of it, that's validation. I'm an optimist by trade. I'm an optimist. No matter where it is, I can find the good. I can find common ground. But when I have other parties validating it, when I have Harvard, Brown, and Michigan saying, we're going to study this for 18 months, we're going to pour hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're going to see, is all that you're promoting, is all the hard work that they're doing really paying off? And when we got that report in February of this year, it got picked up. It was read by the World Literacy Foundation globally. And let me tell you what's going to happen next year. Ignite is going to be featured globally at the World Literacy Foundation Summit. Stay tuned for that. Do you know we have our first international partner? Because we attracted all this talent because of your hard work. When Shaggy came here, the entertainer, who's from Jamaica, and he connected with Dr. Shane Jackson, our healthy eating instructor, Dr. Jackson was able to build that relationship, and she just came back for 2 different trips and launched Ignite Healthy Eating in the country of Jamaica, our first international partner for Ignite. But I'm telling you, it can't happen without the work here. Do you know when we launched, we tracked the data, and we have taught, ready for this, 259,000 hours in the Genesee County Jail under Ignite. We have graduated 57 GEDs and 23 diplomas. But we've taught over 3,113 inmates just in 4.5 years, not to include the mega sites and the states that we have around the nation. But when you look at people making decisions, giving hope, like I talked to Jason today from our Into Work graduation, when people leave the jails in America, they need help with their IDs and getting job placements and housing. And that's why we partnered with the Flint Health Coalition and RISE, because people have real struggles. It's what Jelly Roll says, he does music for real people with real problems. And that's what we need to recognize, that you may drive by a jail in St. Joe or in Kalamazoo or Flint, but don't think that they're any different than those that are on the outside. And we need to help restore, because when you restore families and decisions are made different, everybody wins when nobody commits a crime. Everybody wins when you don't re-addict. Can I tell you, in jails, we are required by the Michigan Department of Corrections to have a certain number of beds. That if we go over the beds, then we have to declare by law jail overcrowding. Ours in Genesee County is 580. That means that any time at 12:01 we do a bed count, and if the in-bed count is above 580, then we have to declare that first day of overcrowding. If that lasts 10 days in a row, we have to bring the count down to 555. That involves so many moving parts, the circuit court, all these things. But let me tell you, when you don't have people coming to jail, it's not because we're putting less cops on the street. It's because people are committing less crimes. They're re-addicting less. So I just want you to know that these stats. In 2022, this jail was overcrowded 86% of the days, 278 days. 278 days, we were over 580. In 2023, we went down to 92 days. Just 92 days, less than 30%. In 2024, this jail has not been overcrowded one day, 0% overcrowded, and our average stay in jail is 100 less than it was in 2022. 100 less. And I'm going to tell you, there's people in this jail right now that don't know what this jail was like. Deputies who have worked in this facility when we were 620, 630, it is no room at all. But it's because of the culture change. When we first started this, people would ask, Sheriff, what is the impact? Well, there's a lot of benchmarks. The first is violence in the jail and attitudes. You can see that almost immediately. When we were working with Mount Morris, we were tracking math and reading. We were seeing, okay, here's the assessed grade where everybody is. Where are we 3 months from now? Where are we 6 months? But there's a stat that is hard to track, and that is recidivism, the repeat crime. What does one do when they're contemplating, do I follow or do I break? Do I re-addict or do I stay clean? That takes years to track, and there's a lot of benchmarks. But when I was able to call Harvard and tell them for 3 years now we've tracked our jail overcrowding, and in 2024 we will have 0 days, that was a stunning fact for them. So I just want to say thank you to everybody making it happen, to all those that have committed to Ignite. And let me tell the media and all that are here, use your voice as a megaphone. Use your experience here as an influence, because this is the answer to restore lives, restoring families, reducing crime, reducing addictions, and setting people free. Now you can cheer. And I'm here to tell you that I love people who use their positions for good, as a sword for good, not a sword for destruction. And people like Jelly Roll and Shaggy and all these people that we were talking about. I had the occasion to go and meet a very, very influential music, not only a producer, but an entertainer, and somebody who's got the real heart of what they came from and to where they are right now. And I'm going to tell you, I asked this individual to give a special message to this graduating class. And ladies and gentlemen, here's the message to this class from Snoop Dogg.
Mic check 1, 2. It's one and only Big Snoop Dogg, giving a shout out to all of the brothers at Ignite. Man, Ignite is going to another level. I want to give y'all a shout out to y'all getting back. Y'all getting an opportunity. I want to find a way to make a way to get to LA. Get some coming out here. Y'all doing some great things. Much love. Shout out to the graduates, those who graduated in the past, and those who graduated this year. Keep up the great work.
Straight from Snoop Dogg in LA, baby. And you know he's going to be here. It's just a matter of time. Let me do my thing. But now it's your time. It truly is. It's your time to be recognized. It's your time to be celebrated, for your families to embrace, and to let people know that are out there. There may be skeptics still, because no matter what, there's people that just don't understand. But I'm going to tell you, you're truly changing the culture of people's lives. And so stay the course. Stay the course. We're not perfect, but we try to make it better every single day. So when you get recognized and this team of professionals stand up and wish you well and say, great job, this is just the start of your journey. This is you now having to go tell 10 people and to tell your story and to make it better and to be a part of it and to leave this place just like Miss Curry did, who was an inmate here, who went through into work and left here to go get not only a job at a kitchen and run the kitchen, but also to come back and work for Airmark in order to be the person who's teaching the next class. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is culture change. Miss Curry, come on up here. Our VIPs, would you stand? VIP stand, we're going to graduate our first class, which is our into work graduates. If you want to say something brief and short, here you go.
I would love to, thank you. You guys are not your mistakes. They are what you did. They are not who you are. My name is Ilona Curry. I'm a corrections oversight worker for Aramark at the Genesee County Jail. I'm the instructor for the Interwork program. I hold the nationally accredited Serve Safe Manager certification as well as a food allergy certification. I'm a certified instructor and proctor for the National Restaurant Association. I'm a trauma-informed yoga teacher holding a certification from the Prison Yoga Project in California. I believe in the power of healing, the power of change, and the power of love. I'm also a person with a felony record. Notice I didn't say I'm a felon. I'm not my mistakes. That is what I did, not who I am. A part of who I am is a graduate of the Ignite and Into Work programs that we are celebrating and honoring today. I encourage all of you to change your thinking and stop defining yourself by your worst moments. You are not your mistakes. You are fathers, sons, brothers, your mothers, daughters, sisters, your forgiveness, your healing, your change, and today you are graduates. Each of you spent the last couple of months working, studying, and learning. You focused on specific educational topics, but you also been studying yourselves. I'm proud of each of you, and I congratulate you on the steps you've taken to reach this moment. On some level, maybe it feels a little insignificant. I'd like to remind you that just over a year ago, I sat where you're sitting, unsure of where these pieces of paper were going to take me and what they could do for me. But today I stand before you as a former resident of the Genesee County Jail, an alumni of the Ignite and Into Work programs, holding a full-time position with a national company, teaching the very program that offered me light in the darkness. In order to complete this kitchen certification class, candidates must complete an application and resume, and they have to go through an interview process. We look for candidates who are ready to take the next step towards change, those who are willing to study and take the class, homework, and on-the-job training seriously. Students spent over 30 hours in the classroom, more than 50 hours in the kitchen cooking special order foods for the Fresh Favorites program, while implementing the food safety skills that they learned in the classroom, and another 40 hours studying on their own time. During this 6-week program, they were able to earn certificates of completion for the Aramark Kitchen Basics program and Food Service Manager. At the end of the program, they completed a 2-hour proctored exam to earn the nationally accredited Serve Safe Manager certification. These students took a chance on themselves and found the courage to walk toward the path of change. Shaka Senghor, New York Times bestselling author of Righting My Wrongs, said, no matter what you go through in life, if you are willing to give yourself a chance, you can turn things around. When each of you chose to participate in Ignite and Into Work, you gave yourself a chance. You took a step towards change. And although we cannot change others, when we change ourselves, we change the world. Congratulations.
I want to say that the significance of returning citizens are so critical, because I know the staff took a chance on me. When I said I want to hire John L. and Percy, John L. did 29 years, Percy 12, And we're going to put somebody on the board who did 28 years, Danny Hirani, the national board. And we have somebody who's got a felony record. Let me just tell you, take a chance on returning citizens. They have great value. Take a chance. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, cue the music. Mr. Joe Blacknail. Harold T. Joshua Lowe. Troy Miller. Michael Lorick. Our final graduate for the Into Work program has created a memory for me that I won't forget. Jason Underhill was released from the Genesee County Jail and asked if he could come back to this ceremony to be recognized for his work in the Into Work. Would you recognize a free man as a graduate, and will also receive a $50 gift card from our friends at Kroger, Jason Underhill. There you go, man, right there.
Give him that for 2 months.
Okay. It's your time, man. Why'd you come back?
Really don't know what to say. I had a fun time in the Into Work program. It helped me learn some things that could probably get me a job, certification that might take me somewhere. But right now I'm just trying to put my life together and move forward with everything.
There you go, man. That's an example. I want you to know that Team Wellness just shot you a $50 bill from Danny Hirani. And on top of that, we've connected him, Percy Glover and I, one of our county ambassadors. You got somebody like Jason who doesn't have an ID and doesn't have a job. It's our job to carry that water even beyond the jail walls so they don't come back. And that's what we're going to do with you, man. You do your part, we'll do our part. Jason Underhill. Kevin Galloway. Come on up, Kevin. Kevin Galloway, our big obstruction many times, and not only in jail life, but also personal, is what do you do with your finances? There are people, even not housed at the Genesee County Jail, that are listening to this right now knowing I didn't know what an asset was, what a liability was, I didn't know what a checking account was, what an investment was. But thank you to Cheryl Sclater and our friends at Elga Credit Union. They have been partners from day one. And Kevin Galloway is our instructor right now. I'm going to give him 30 seconds or so to tell us about this.
Excellent. Thank you, Sheriff Swanson. Can I tell you it's a momentous occasion because while we are honored to be able to invest in you, the best investment that's happening is the investment you're making in yourselves. As a part of our financial fitness course through Elwood Credit Union, we spend some time talking to them about the basics of budgeting. Budgeting is something that evades many of us. And so we usually start there, then we talk about establishing, maintaining, and even repairing our credit. We give them a crash course on how to prepare for mortgages, and we even do an intro to investment. Because we believe that it's a worthy investment to make, because once you're outside of these walls, I want to make sure that I'm a resource for you so that we can build together. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Tyree Parker. Tellis Thompson. Roshan Thomas. Tyree Latimer. We got a cheer section. There we go. Timothy Childers. Damon Alexander. Montrell Moore. Anthony Simmons. Flint's very own Clifton Terry. Our female graduates, Candace Patton, Natsia Holmes, ladies and gentlemen, our Elgar Credit Union Financial Fitness class. Congratulations. Now, our friends from the Crim Foundation, you know, the Bobby Crim race has been around for decades, and it's a way to give back. And what it's grown into is a festival of races and now a full-time foundation. We talk about mindfulness. We talk about how to leave rage behind. How do we deal with problems, de-escalate? And when that happens, people make good decisions. So our mindfulness partnership with the Crim Foundation is key. So Katiana Youngblood. Courtney Oglesby. Nakari Ivy. DeAndre McLilly. Amiri Hill. Congratulations. Devin Strandford. Devin. Timothy Childs. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're welcome. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, our Elgar Credit Union Financial Fitness graduates of 2024. And as I said, you know, when you come up with these bold moves, when you have people that are from your own staff that step up and say, I want to help. And I can tell you that hair doesn't stop growing in the jails. And we have, before this program, we had clandestine barbershops. Now every floor, Congressman, has a jail barbershop, and we have people that are in barber school taught by our very own Deputy Menard, our barber certified instructor, Deputy Menard. Please tell everybody what goes in on barber school and the most famous haircut your class has ever given.
Thank you, Sheriff Swanson. This is really exciting because we can finally say that we can give people something that they can take with them when they get out of jail. Before, you had to go to school for about 2,000 hours. You had to commit an entire year of your life to going to school without getting paid. You were cutting hair, but you really weren't making any money. You were just going to school. Now we're giving people skills and tools to take with them. We do about 40 hours of training so that they have experience to market themselves to barbershops in their community or beyond. Whether you're in New York or Los Angeles, Flint or Detroit, I'd say that when you look good, you feel good, and it makes a difference. These are skills that people can take with them, and they can market themselves to get an apprenticeship, because now in the state of Michigan, you do not have to go to school. You can find a local barbershop, you can apprentice under them, you can take the testing and get your barber license.
Who's the most famous customer your students ever cut?
And we're proud to say that one of our students in the first graduating class cut Jelly Roll's hair.
Tyree Latimer. Anthony Simmons. There we go. Congratulations, congratulations. Thank you so much. Deputy Menard, we appreciate you and saying, yes, I want to take care of it. Only 2 more recognitions, then we have our keynote. But you know, there's a lot of people who have never experienced well done, or let alone a ceremony where they have been able to be celebrated for completing high school. And we like to make sure that because of our partnership with Mount Morris Schools and Superintendent Kuyat, that we've always put a preference on getting GEDs and diplomas. Many times that's the first thing. There's probably a lot of people out there by the sound of my voice that know what that void is like when somebody asks you where you went to high school and you got to come up with a reason why you didn't graduate. And you were a different person back then, different circumstances. So there is a freedom that comes with GED and diploma graduates that opens up so many other doors and allows people to have pride in themselves. And again, all part of the algorithm of breaking the cycle. So our GED graduates, give it up for Clifton Terry. Never too old. Congratulations. Glenn Pack. GED. Is Glenn's family here? Cliff Mack's family here? All right, we're going to have to get some. Nice to meet you, man. Congratulations. Chance Teach Out. Dad, come on up here. Come on up here. Come on up here. I have no business giving your son a GED. You do. Come on up here. Hold on. There you are, sir. Thanks. What does it mean, sir?
Oh, this means everything. He's come a long ways. I would just want him to do better, take advantage of what you're offering. I'm sure he will. He's a very smart guy. Let's get him on the road, and all you guys, man, take advantage of what this is offering you. This is fantastic. Thank you very much.
Cameron Burnett, is your family here? Cam, get up here. Come on. Cue the music, Sergeant Sprague. Cameron Burnett, come on up here. Come on up here. Here we go. No, you stand next to Mom. Are you kidding?
I haven't sung my baby in 4 years. I haven't touched him in 4 years. I thank you. For everybody that got their GED, I got my GED, and I have a master's degree. So it don't stop there. Don't stop there. Keep believing, keep fighting. This is not who you are. It's such a big world out there, and all of you got a chance to make it.
Yes, ma'am. And with that, we have a high school diploma. Jaqueline Bond, your family here? Come on up here. Jaqueline Bond's getting his high school diploma. Come here. Thank you, Mount Morris High School. There you go. There you go, ma'am.
Oh, I'm so happy, so excited. But this is my advice to you all. God is good. God has forgiven you all. So you got to forgive yourself. Don't look back. Continue going forward. Press forward, people. God bless you all.
You know, Danny Hirani has said a long time ago, when you do time, your family does time with you. And there's victims out there that they want to make sure that what you do from this is for good. And I want you to know that for the record, that I don't write letters to judges, I don't put letters in their files, I don't advocate for cases, but while you're here, we're gonna give you the best shot to be a success. So thank you so much for our VIPs. Have a seat. We are gonna introduce our keynote speaker. I saw a man tear up in the pod right next to us. I've known this man since he was a county commissioner and then the treasurer. This man started the land bank, the first one in Michigan. He comes from a long line of public servants. And 11 years ago, he raised his hand and said, I'm going to leave my wife on a Monday and come back on a Friday to fight for the people. He decided at that point as a United States congressman to go there and represent the 8th district. And nobody who's listening or watching right now doesn't have somebody like this man in their own district. So this isn't something that is unique to Flint, Genesee County. This is what government is supposed to do. You're supposed to recognize where the need is and serve it. And this man came up because he'd heard about Ignite. Now mind you, we had no staff for the first 2.5 years. John L. and Percy donated their time for 2 years before they were hired. The Ignite team didn't have any extra bonuses. We just made it happen. We changed our culture, our mindset. We had that investment from the UAW, but we needed funding. It's better to go to a commissioner and say, these are the results, now would you help fund it? Versus, here's an idea, will you help fund it? I said, bring in the results and the numbers, and they have to fund it. And when this congressman came to the FEMA housing floor, you walked in, and it was in 2021, and you saw a female. She was taking her math classes, and she started here in the 6th grade math. And she was so excited within 90 days that she was now in the 8th grade math. She was 35 years old. And right then and there, I saw the emotion connect with the ability. And don't tell me that this place isn't supported by the state and the federal government. Because of that moment, Representative Dan Kildee was able to get $767,000 for Ignite, $250,000 for equipment, $963,000 to fight human trafficking and fund ghosts, $1.4 million for equipment. We have received, because of that moment, $3,380,000, with another $1.9 million to Genesee County Promise because of your keynote speaker and our representative, Dan Kildee. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you, Sheriff, for giving me the opportunity to see what you were doing here and giving me the opportunity to go to Washington and to get those important dollars to support continuing this great work. As the Sheriff said, I'm a United States Congressman. I'm actually finishing my 12 years in Washington, D.C. in about 1 month, and I'm coming home for good. I'm going to be right down the street. I'm going to be the president of the Community Foundation here, and we're going to continue to work together on all these things. But I mentioned that I'm a member of Congress, and the reason I mention that is, you know, it's quite an experience to go down to Washington, D.C. I still remember walking into the United States Capitol my first day, looking at that great big dome, coming to understand it was built in 1800. It was actually built by slaves. It's a country that's been here for 248 years. It's a country that has been on a long path toward what was promised back in July of 1776, to create a more perfect union. That's what they said. That's what they set out to do. It has not been a straight line for this country. We have ugly moments in American history. We have terrible mistakes that were made during the course of American history. But as a member of Congress, one of the things that I came to understand, the skills that I needed to do this job, included an understanding, a deep understanding of that history, because it's impossible to chart a path forward without knowing our history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I also came to understand something else. We cannot change our history. I mean, I sometimes wish there were some sort of magic machine that we could invent that would allow us to go back and avoid some of the terrible mistakes that we made as a nation. We cannot change our history, but we can learn from it, and we can take those lessons to try to continue to pursue the best version of this nation that we can possibly be. We can't change our history. We can change the way we look at it. But the other thing I learned is that we have complete control with the right tools. We have complete control of our future. As a country, as a Congress, that's what I've tried to do. As I'm sitting here watching this beautiful occasion, it occurred to me that what I've been doing and the way I've been thinking about my work relates exactly to what people sitting in front of me have in their heads, have in their hearts. You can't change your history. You can't go back and undo the mistakes that you've made. We've all made mistakes. Some of them are never known by anyone. Some of them are known just to our families and our friends, or the person who is the victim of that error. Some of them result in the situation that you found yourselves in. You can't change your history, but you have 100%, with the right tools, you have 100% control over your future. You get to decide your future. We do as a nation, we do as individuals. We can't erase the past, but we can use the past as an important set of lessons to keep in mind as we use the freedom that we have and the freedom that you are going to experience to choose your own path forward. That's powerful. That's powerful. It's good for you to make these choices. It's good for you. You'll do better as a result of the work that you've put in. You'll do better individually. You'll have a better life. You'll earn more money. You'll be able to take care of yourself in a much better way. But it would be such a mistake if we thought about this work that you've done and this program that has been put together as only benefiting the people who have marched before us on this morning's stage. Because there are so many other people who will benefit from what you're doing. Your families, the pride that I see in the eyes of your friends and family, they benefit from what you are doing right here. Your community will benefit because inside each and every one of you is this spark of humanity, this intelligence, this capacity, this creativity, this ingenuity that you can now contribute and make our community a better place than it would have been if you hadn't taken this challenge on and been willing to do this hard work. You make yourselves better people. You make your families stronger. You make your community stronger. You make your community more productive. If we can do it for a person, we can do it for a family. If we do it for a family, we can do it for a neighborhood, for a whole city, for our county, for our state, for our country. What you're doing is not a small thing. You're changing the world, and you're changing the way the world sees you. Let me just finish by saying one other thing, because I want to mainly just congratulate you. I've given a lot of speeches. I got elected to public office 48 years ago when I was 18 years old. I've been in this a long, well, I won't use any foul language, a long darn time. I've never gave a more important speech than the one I'm giving right now. This is really powerful. It's really powerful. Thank you. This didn't happen by accident. Sheriff mentioned there are a whole lot of folks, some of them here, some of them out there, some wearing uniforms working in this facility, community partners, labor organizations, businesses, cultural folks, all contributing because they saw something in this idea that touched their hearts and caused them to say, I want to be a part of this. But I want to minimize the fact, and I know a little bit about this, that when you go to make change in the way these organizations, these institutions operate, it's not easy. It takes courage. It takes intellect, but it also takes leadership. Leadership is the act of sometimes upsetting the conventional way of doing things. I did that when I was in county government. Created this new idea now, this land bank idea. There are 400 of them around the country. This sheriff, the team he surrounded himself with included, but this sheriff as an individual has demonstrated the most important aspect of leadership. Lead with your heart, lead with your mind, but have courage to challenge the way things have always been done, because the biggest excuse for doing things, the biggest excuse for continuing to operate an organization is something that goes like, well, that's the way we've always done it. This sheriff, Sheriff Chris Swanson, elected to be the chief law enforcement official in our county, understood that if you're going to change lives, sometimes you have to change the way you work with people. Sometimes you have to challenge conventional thinking. Sometimes you kind of have to upset a few folks. And if you do it with heart and with intellect and with resolve, you can be proven to have something that has real value to our society. The fact that what started here is being replicated in other places is a testament to the power of this idea, the testament to the notion that when you see something that you don't think is working right, you have an obligation to try to make some change, to do something different, to give it a chance, to try a new idea. Not every new idea is going to work, but when it does, it's like magic. And that's what we see right now. So Sheriff, you had me when I came here to visit. You know, we delivered millions of dollars. You had me at hello. Don't sit here and underestimate what you have done for yourselves. Don't sit and underestimate what you've done for your families or what you've done for your community. You are truly changing the world by changing the trajectory of your life. You can't change your history, but you can control your future. And this is the first day of your future, and you should be very, very proud of yourselves. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We have a new sheriff in St. Joe County. He's an educator. He's an innovator, and he said yes. And we're going to add him before our closing speaker. For now that you have seen it, Sheriff Spence, you get to say what you're going to launch in St. Joe County when you get sworn in as the next sheriff of that county. Please welcome the new sheriff-elect of St. Joe County.
Gotta be honest, I wasn't prepared for this, and then you gotta follow that up. No, this is very important to me. Working 25 years in law enforcement and retiring, you had a perspective of what law enforcement was. I was hired to help inmates get their GEDs after I retired. One of the most rewarding experiences of my life. And now I teach high school kids public safety, and I've mixed the two into that program. To bring in Ignite into our area is gonna go against the norm, and I'm all about that. I've said we are gonna change the culture within our agency, in our county, in Southwest Michigan. And I look forward to introducing this Ignite program Troy Falk, who is a lieutenant with Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office, he'll be the captain of our Sheriff's Office. He's got a good grasp on it with everything that's done in Kalamazoo County. And the day we implement that, Sheriff Swanson already committed.
That's right.
To be there. And I encourage all of you to watch on Facebook Live and encourage and applaud all of you for your accomplishments. Very proud of you. Your family's very proud of you, and you should be mostly proud of yourselves. Congratulations.
There's 83 of us in the state of Michigan and 3,084 in the country. And if there's one thing I know sheriffs can do, regardless of party, is we take care of people. So thank you so much. Thank you, Sheriff Fuller. Our closing speaker is a friend of mine, and he's also got a different perspective. And as we close this out, I also want to say, because he's going to dismiss everybody, thank you to our friends at the White Horse who have catered lunch for all of our guests. We have the bake station. Steve Katz provided all the dessert for the friends and the family and the graduates. And these are community partners, but there's no better partner than friends. And I consider Danny Hirani a Swanson friend. Give it up for Danny Hirani.
I'm a little bit shorter than the rest of them. You know, I never write a speech when I come up here to speak to such esteemed people, and when I say esteemed, I mean you guys. Like the sheriff said, my name is Danny Hirani. I'm a director from Team Wellness Center. We're the largest mental health agency in the state. I am on the board for the National Sheriff's Association for Ignite. I like to say I'm the sheriff's boss, although he doesn't listen too well. But here's the reality. 32 years ago today, the sheriff doesn't know, my journey began. I served 28 years of incarceration with a natural life sentence. I used to sit exactly where you were. I got my degree from Indiana State University in prison. I created all the programming in prison. I was hired as a director for the largest mental health company, not in spite of my conviction, but because of my conviction, because they knew nobody could do what I do. Anytime I come up here to talk, I always like to Google quote of the day before I come up here. That's like my thing. And it's amazing because God has favor over this program. God has favor over this program. Because when I put in Google, quote of the day, here's the quote for today. You are braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. That was the first quote. And the second quote was, it's during our darkest moments that we must focus the light. And let me tell you, this is the reality. When I went to prison, I had a mandatory life sentence. I was supposed to die in prison. I'm not supposed to be standing here today. But I never believed that because I had faith in God, and I put that light there. Even though that light wasn't there at the end of the tunnel, I put it there anyways because I believed that God had a better plan for me. Just like he has a better plan for each of you. Each one of you has a better purpose in life. I work in juvenile justice today. We have the most comprehensive juvenile restorative justice program in the state. The rest of the state, just like the rest of the country, needs to emulate the NSA as emulating here in Genesee County what Sheriff Swanson did. The rest of the state has to emulate what we do for juveniles. I focus now on keeping kids out of the same journey that I took. And I ask you all to do the same, whether it is your kids, your nephews, your nieces, your friends' kids. You need to ensure they don't have to take the same journey that you took. We are the ones that are going to break the cycle. We're going to break the cycle. The Ignite program was created to break the cycle of generational incarceration. Laws were written, unfortunately, that adversely affected many people. Many people. Many people of color, whether black, brown, Hispanic, they were laws that were written, unfortunately, that were adverse to you. And today, Ignite was created specifically to attack those. We know that education stops recidivism. That's a proven fact. The numbers don't lie. You know, Sheriff Swanson was the visionary for Ignite, and every visionary needs a partner. And Congressman Kildee was that partner. He put his money where his mouth was. Today, by the end of 2025, Ignite will be in half the country, and it started here in Genesee County. And there is nothing I am more proud of than to sit on that board and be able to push an agenda that serves to provide second chances for individuals at life. You know, they say it takes courage, but Sheriff, I'm going to tell you what it takes. I'm going to tell you because this is one of my favorite words, because my lawyer, when I was going to trial, told my jury this. You got to have chutzpah. Chutzpah. which means overwhelming courage to change things. He told my jury, you have to have chutzpah to look the government in the eye and tell them you were wrong. Of course, they didn't have that courage, but you know what? I always say that everything has a purpose and plan in life. Congressman Kildee asked me, how did you meet Sheriff Swanson? And there's a little story to that, but let me tell you something. It was all in God's plan. Everything happens the way it happened. It couldn't have happened no other way, and that's why I stand before you today, honored to serve. I want to tell you guys one thing before I leave. Do not rush your reentry. You are going to face hardships. I'm going to ask you to remember those words. I have friends that are now reincarcerated because they wanted to rush their reentry. The game is dead. Don't think for a minute you can get one quick lick and get it done. A friend of mine got in trouble. He did 23 years, had life, got out and was blessed and everything. And then his wife called me and said, wow, man, do you know a good lawyer in Ohio? And I said, why? She said, well, he got in a little trouble in Ohio. And I said, okay, send me the paperwork because I do law. Let me see what it was. After I read the paperwork, she called me back. I told her, listen, great news. He does not need a lawyer. She said, really? I said, no, he needs the Lord because the only thing that's going to save him is God. No, God is the only thing that's going to save him from the trouble that he got himself in. And now he's looking at a minimum of 20 more years of incarceration because he tried to rush his reentry. When you face a hardship, remember that little jail cell you sit in today. People can never upset me. I never get upset no matter what happens to me because I know that I could still be sitting in prison serving a mandatory life sentence. But instead, God showed me favor and so I return that favor. Don't ever forget that jail cell. Hate that jail cell with all your heart so that every time you face something discouraging, you remember it and say, man, I'm not going back. I don't care what happens. Congratulations. God bless and good luck.